The best way to bring about change in children is through training, not primarily through correction. However, there are times when we have to engage in correction, so let's talk about some consequences you can use with your children. The best kind of consequences are the ones that motivate children back into the plan. Don't think a justice mentality, he did this, so he deserves that, but rather think in terms of how can I bring about a change of heart? That is the processing. How am I going to help this child change and start thinking and acting differently and moving toward the goal of being more kind or respectful or contributing or whatever it is. So we're moving in that direction. And if a child's doing the wrong thing by being disrespectful, we may have to use a consequence. So in a behavior modification model, which we don't embrace, a reward punishment model, you would typically say something like this to a child. Because you were being unkind or disrespectful to your mom, I'm taking away your iPad for a week. In a heart-based approach, we might do the same thing. We might say we're taking away your iPad, but we wouldn't set a time limit, because what we're saying is I'm taking away your iPad until you show me that you are contributing to the family and you're responding better to your mom. Now, if we do it this way, then we're using the consequence the way I think it's designed primarily in parenting, is to motivate our children to do what's right instead of just punish them for doing what's wrong. This is a key element as we're trying to develop the parenting approaches with our children. Why? Because now who's responsible for getting the iPad back to the child? Is it the mom? You know, what happens when you're using a reward punishment model, you're often having to hide the iPad under the bed or in the freezer or something. And in this kind of an approach, it's the child's responsibility. We're saying, basically like the prodigal son's father, I've got a lot of privileges I want to give you. They're available to you as soon as you're willing to abide by the principles that make this family work. Here's what you need to do to get your iPad back. And then we may give it back more often, but take it away more often in that approach, because we're moving children toward a goal. Think about training. If we use consequences in terms of training, we'll do much better than having a justice mentality to bring about change in children. This is big. So think about the consequences. Think about the attitude you have toward correction. If you move toward training and use consequences that way, you'll have a greater result to bring about significant change in your child's processing or inside their hearts. For more biblical parenting tips, follow me here.